unthinkable.
Are you your enemy? Are you defeating yourself? Limiting your dreams? Sabotaging your relationships? All because you don't like you? You have enough people and circumstances against you. Don't be against yourself. When you wake up in the morning, don't lie in bed and think of everything wrong with you. What you don't like about your looks. Relive your mistakes. Why didn't I finish college? I should be more disciplined. I lost my temper yesterday. Instead of focusing on what's wrong with you, start focusing on what's right with you. You may have weaknesses. You've made mistakes. We all have. But there's a lot more right with you than there is wrong with you. Dwelling on the negative doesn't help you to do better. Beating yourself up for past mistakes doesn't move you forward. The better you feel about yourself, the better you'll do. The more you like yourself, the further you'll go. You can't give away what you don't have. If you're in turmoil on the inside, mad at yourself, critical, condemned, that's what you have to give. If you're hard on yourself, you'll be hard on others. If you don't forgive yourself, you won't forgive others. If you don't get along with you, how can you get along with your family? The best thing you can do is start being for you. When you love yourself, then you can love others. When you're kind to yourself, then you can be kind to others. It starts with you. Well, Joel, I have all these faults, these weaknesses. Once I overcome, once I learn to control my temper, be more disciplined, quit saying things that I shouldn't, then I won't be down on myself. If you're waiting to perform perfectly before you feel good about who you are, you'll be waiting your whole life. You have to accept yourself while you're in the process of changing. God knew you would have weaknesses. He made you. You're not a surprise to Him. He's not in heaven scratching His head thinking, I didn't see that coming. They're a mess. What am I going to do? He knew there would be things you struggle with. You're not supposed to beat yourself up because you haven't arrived yet. I don't know one person that has arrived. There will always be some area we need to improve in. In fact, I believe God will leave weaknesses on purpose, so we'll have to depend on Him. He's changing you from glory to glory. Learn to enjoy the glory that you're in right now. You may not be where you want to be, but you're not where you used to be. Instead of looking at how far you have to go, you need to look back and thank God for how far He's already brought you.
How do you change a person's life? I had, prior to starting my school in South Africa, I had this big idea that I was going to, that I was going to take 100 families out of the projects and green, and I was going to give them a new life, and I was going to buy them homes and stuff. And that did not work. It failed miserably. I had a Big Sister program that I started, failed miserably. So I realized that for me, first of all, I realized you don't change, as you all are recognizing through the SEED program. You first have to change the way a person thinks and sees themselves. So you've got to create a sense of aspiration, a sense of hopefulness, so a person can begin to even have a vision for a better life. And if you can't connect to that, then you lose. You lose and they lose. And it's just money after money after money. So for me, it's using my philanthropy to do what I have found to be enormously helpful. You know, the light in my life was education. Mm-hmm. So for me, in the beginning, when I started to make money, especially when it's published, everybody and their brother calls you. And then you've got to make a decision. Am I going to do what everybody else wants me to do? Or am I going to be led by who I really am? And I learned, as will happen to anybody who's successful in your family, people start treating you like the First National Bank. And you've got to decide. You've got to draw the boundaries for yourself and decide how are you going to use your money, your talent, your time. in such a way that it's going to serve you first, because if it doesn't allow you to be filled up, then you get depleted and you no longer want to, you can't keep doing it.
Right.
So my decisions are now emotional and logical, meaning I choose education, but I do it in such a way that's actually going to benefit the person that I'm serving. Then it's not just, oh, I want to help people, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It takes a mature person to say, I'm okay with where I am while I'm on the way to where God is taking me. One time someone asked me what was the one thing that I would change about myself if I could. And I don't mean this to sound arrogant, but I couldn't think of anything. And sure, there are plenty of areas I need to improve, I need to change, I need to grow. My point is, my weaknesses are not on the forefront of my mind. I'm not focused on my shortcomings, reliving my failures, down on myself for past mistakes. I know I'm forgiven. I'm redeemed. I'm a masterpiece. I'm made in the image of Almighty God. Life is too short to go through it against yourself. I say this with humility. I like myself. I like my looks. I like my personality. I like my sense of humor. I like my taste. I like my physique. I like who God made me to be. It's very powerful when you can say you like yourself. Not, I like myself after I lose 20 pounds, after I learn to keep my mouth closed, after I become more patient. God accepts and approves you right where you are. Faults and all, mistakes, shortcomings, not when you overcome, but right now. He knows you're on a journey. He's changing you little by little. He accepts you. Now you have to accept yourself. He approves you. You have to approve yourself. You may be good at complimenting others, but you need to get good at complimenting yourself. You don't have to do it out loud, but in your mind you need to say, that was good. Got to work on time, that was good. I did excellent on that presentation, that was good. Helped my neighbor last night. That was good. Why don't you start giving yourself the credit that you give others? You told that friend they look good. Have you told yourself that you look good? You complimented your coworker. Have you complimented yourself? Well, Joel, I would feel good about myself that I've made these mistakes. If I had been more disciplined, the mistake didn't change your purpose. Don't let failures and times you got off course cause you to be against yourself. Be as merciful to you as you are to others. You have to learn to forgive yourself. The accuser will bring condemnation, guilt. You don't deserve it. He would love for you to feel not worthy, down on yourself. Don't fall into that trap.